Good morning, dear students. Now, in this lecture, we are going to start chapter 8 Euploidy and Aneuploidy. So, here we are dealing with the ploidy level in plant. So, ploidy consists of set of chromosomes that has been present in the plant genome. So, euploidy, literally meaning of the U is the true. So here there is an addition of a complete set of chromosome that was seen in the plant genome. Such plants are referred as euploids. When there is a change occurs in one or more chromosome, then it is referred as aneuploidy. So euploidy concern with the change in the complete set of chromosome, while aneuploidy is the addition or loss of one or more whole chromosomes. This is referred as aneuploidy. So both euploidy and aneuploidy we will study in this chapter, that is chapter 8 euploidy and aneuploidy. So before going for euploidy and aneuploidy, we first study certain basic things in the ploidy level. As you know that each plant species has a characteristic number of chromosome in the nuclei of its gametes and somatic cells. So in plants there are two types of cells has been found, somatic cell and gametic cell. So each cell having a characteristic number of chromosomes in the nuclei. So as you know that the chromosomes are found in the nucleus. So the nucleus of somatic cell and gametic cell possesses a particular characteristic number of chromosomes. The gametic chromosome number constitutes a basic set of chromosomes called as the genome. So genome is the gametic chromosome number which constitutes a basic set of chromosomes. So a basic set of chromosomes are called as the genome. So in case of a somatic cell which is diploid, diploid means diploid di, it possesses two sets of chromosomes, two basic set of chromosomes. So here the somatic cell possesses two genome. Because a basic set of chromosome, it is called as the genome. If we say it is a somatic cell, it possesses two genome, so it is diploid, while gametes are haploid. For example, in case of human being, there are 46 chromosomes. Okay, so in the gametic cell, it possesses 23 chromosomes. So this 23 is a basic set of chromosomes found in the gametic cell, while 46 is the diploid set of chromosomes, means two basic set of chromosomes that are found in the somatic cell. So we say gametes are haploid while the somatic cell which is diploid. So a gametic cell contains a single set of chromosome, that is a single basic set of chromosome or a single genome, so it is called haploid. So gametic cell is haploid while somatic cell is diploid because it possesses two genome. Okay, so N refers to the basic set of chromosome. 2N means there are two basic set of chromosomes are present in the somatic cell. So gamete cell which is always haploid, it possesses a single genome or it possesses the basic set of chromosome. Okay, genome is a basic set of chromosome. So gamete cell is haploid, it contains a single basic set of chromosomes or a single genome, while the somatic cell possesses two such basic set of chromosomes or two genome, so it is diploid. When a haploid gametes of both sexes, that is male and female, are unite in the process of fertilization, a diploid zygote has been formed which contain two genome. So there are two sexes, male and female. Here two haploid gametes are formed, one by the male individual, another by the female individual. So these male and female gametes, that is the egg cell and the sperm cells, that has been unite in the process of fertilization to produce a diploid zygote. Why it is diploid? Because egg cell is haploid, sperm cell which is also haploid, and by the union of these two cells, that is the egg cell and sperm cell, it produces a diploid zygote with two genome has been formed after the process of fertilization. This diploid zygote undergoes embryological development and forms an adult individuals, which upon attaining sexual maturity produces haploid gametes. And this alternation of generation continues between haploidic and diploidic generation in most plant species. So this is the life cycle of the plant, where the gametes has been formed by the both male and female individuals. The gametes are haploid, which possesses a single basic set of chromosome or a genome. These gametes are unite in the process of fertilization, and as a result of which the product form is called as the zygote. So it is the fusion product of the two haploid gametes. So it is diploid, consists of two genome. So this diploid zygote undergoes embryological development and forms an adult individuals, which upon attaining the sexual maturity produces haploid gametes. And this alternation of generation means between haploid and diploid generation. This alternation of generation continues between the haploidic and diploidic generation in most plant species. So this is the natural things that has been happened in the plant, but sometimes irregularities occur in the nuclear divisions, or accidents as from radiations may be fall interphase chromosomes, so that cells or entire organisms with aberrant abnormal genomes may be formed. So this process, if it is continues between haploidic and diploidic generation, if it occur normally or regularly, then this alternation of generation has been continued. However, sometimes irregularities occur in the nuclear division, or due to radiation some accidents may be fall interphase chromosomes, so that cells or entire organism with abnormal or aberrant genome may be formed. Such chromosomal aberrations may include whole genome and entire single chromosome. So such chromosomal abnormalities may occur in the complete set of chromosome, a complete basic set of chromosome, that is the genome. So we here say such chromosomal aberrations or abnormalities may include whole genome, or such abnormalities occur in a single or more chromosome, that is the entire single chromosomes. So these abnormalities we are going to study in this chapter under heading euploidy and aneuploidy. So what are these abnormalities? Changes in number of whole chromosome is called heteroploidy. Okay. So here ploidy we are going to study here. Suppose a change in number of whole chromosome has been occur, it is called heteroploidy. This change may involve change in entire set of chromosome, that is called as euploidy. So this heteroploidy is further divided into two types, euploidy and aneuploidy. So heteroploidy may involve change in entire set of chromosome. When a change occur in the complete entire set of chromosome, then it is called as euploidy. Or a change may occur in a single whole chromosome. What is the change? There is either loss or addition of single whole chromosome, then it is called as aneuploidy. So euploidy consists of a change in the entire set of chromosome. There is an addition or a deletion of a complete set of chromosome. So if we see in case of human being, there are 46 chromosome. Its basic set of chromosome number is 23. When a complete set of chromosome has been added in the human genome, means there is an addition of 23 chromosomes. So how many genomes are present now in the human being? These are 3 genomes. The 2 which are previously present in the human genome, and one additional set of chromosome, that is the 1 genome, has been added in the human genome. So the human genome becomes triploid. Or when there is a loss or addition of single whole chromosome, when In normal human being somatic cell, there are 46 chromosomes. When there is an addition of a single whole chromosome, so the chromosome number becomes 47. So under such case, this is a aneuploidy. There is an addition of a single whole chromosome. And if there is a deletion or a loss of a single whole chromosome, means when one chromosome has been lost from the human genome, so how many chromosomes remain now? These are 45. So this is also aneuploidy. So aneuploidy refers to the loss or addition of single whole chromosome, while euploidy involves change in, there is either addition or a loss of a entire set of chromosome. So set of chromosome, which is a basic set of chromosome, or which is also called as the genome. Okay. So if in case of human being there are two genome, means the somatic cell is diploid, which possesses two basic sets of chromosome. When there is a deletion of a complete entire set of chromosome, means there is a deletion of one genome. Okay, so 2n becomes 1n or a single en. So it becomes haploid. Okay, each may produce phenotypic changes, modifications of phenotypic ratio, or alteration of linkage group. So this is all about the euploidy and aneuploidy. Euploidy, when there is a change occur in the entire set of chromosome. Aneuploidy, there is a loss or addition of single whole chromosome. Okay. Now one by one we are going to study in detail. So first one is the euploidy. The term euploidy designates genomes containing chromosomes that are multiple of some basic number, basic set of chromosome number. Okay, the term euploidy designates genomes containing chromosomes that are multiplied of some basic chromosome number, which is shown as X. So X is some basic number, basic chromosome number. The euploids are those organisms which contain balanced set or sets of chromosome in any number. They are more than 2, means they are 3, 4, 5. The number of chromosome in a basic set is called the monoploid number, that is the X. So monoploid number and haploid number both are looking like the similar. So the X is the basic set of chromosome, while N is the set of chromosomes that are found in the gamete. So N refers to the gametic chromosome number, while X refers to the basic set of chromosome that are found in the particular individual. So which is a monoploid number, while N is a haploid number. So those euploid types whose number of sets is greater than 2 are called polyploids. Poly means many. So how many? So it is more than 2, because 2 is a normal. So those euploid types whose number of sets is greater than 2 are called polyploids. Thus 1x means a single basic set of chromosome number, so it is monoploid. 1x mono, 2x diploid, 3x triploid, 4x tetraploid, 5x pentaploid, 6x hexaploid, and so on. So the chromosome numbers, that is 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x, and so on, these are polyploids. Why they are polyploids? Because they are greater than the 2. 2 is a diploid set of chromosome, okay, which is a normal. When there are more than 2 sets of chromosome found in the individual, these are called as polyploids. So those polyploids are those euploids. There is a change in the entire set of chromosome number. So polyploids are those euploids whose number of sets is greater than 2. So they are called as the polyploids. So 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x, that is triploid, tetraploid, pentaploid, hexaploid, and so on. These all are the polyploids because they possesses number of sets of chromosome greater than 2. Okay, so they are called as polyploids. While monoploids, they possesses a basic set of chromosome number, that is the X, so they are monoploid. Diploid, they possesses 2 such set of chromosomes, then they are 2x or diploid, while polyploids possesses more than 2 sets of chromosome. These are 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x and so on. So this is about the euploid. The haploid refers strictly to the number of chromosomes in the gametes. So haploids are restricted to the number of chromosomes that are found in the gametic cells. In many plants, the haploid number and monoploid number are the same. However, in case of polyploids, the uses of n may create confusion. So this confusion has been resolved by using the monoploid number. For example, in case of modern wheat, x and n are different. So what is the difference here? I am going to explain. Wheat has 42 chromosomes. Okay, so diploid cell of the wheat possesses 42 chromosomes. So its haploid chromosome number is 21. So its gametic cell possesses 21 chromosomes. So 2n is equal to 42, n is equal to 21, that is found in the gamete. So this diploid wheat ETBP say, but careful study reveals that in it is hexaploid. There are 6 set of chromosomes which are rather similar but not identical. So if we say the wheat possesses 6 set of chromosome, then the basic set of chromosome number is 7. 7 multiplied by 6, that is 42. So wheat is a hexaploid. It possesses 6 set of chromosome. But when this hexaploid cell undergoes meiotic cell division during gamete formation, it produces 2 gametes, each possesses 21 chromosomes. Okay, so the haploid set of chromosome in a wheat, these are 21, while the diploid possesses 42. But actually it is hexaploid, it possesses 6 set of chromosome and monoploid chromosome number is 7, while the haploid chromosome number is 21. So x is equal to 7 while n is equal to 21. So n strictly refers to the number of chromosomes in the gametes, while x refers to the monoploid number. Okay, so wheat is hexaploid, its monoploid chromosome number is 7. So 7 into 6, that is the 42. Okay, generally we say somatic cell is diploid. So in case of wheat, there are 42 chromosomes, while its gametes possesses 21 chromosomes. So this is the case of x and n. Now we are going to study the monoploids. Monoploids means they have a single basic set of chromosome. For example, in case of barley it is 7, in corn it is 10. Monoploids is common in plants and rare in animals. So what are monoploids? Mono means single, have a single basic set of chromosome. For example, in barley the diploid set of chromosome number is 14 and in corn it is 20. So the monoploid number is, diploid is 14, then monoploid is 7. So monoploids have a single basic set of chromosomes. 7 in barley, 10 in corn. Monoploids are common in plants but rare in animals. Now the origin and production of monoploids. Monoploids in some cases are found normally and are produced due to parthenogenesis. So what is parthenogenesis? Parthenogenesis is the development of the fruit without fertilization. So without the fusion of male and female gametes, the fruit has been developed, the zygote has been developed, then this phenomenon it is called as the parthenogenesis. In angiosperm, monoploids may also originate spontaneously due to parthenogenetic development of egg cell. So in spite of the fusion of egg cell and the sperm cell, this egg cell directly develops into the zygote. Such rare monoploids have been obtained in tomatoes and cotton under cultivation. Rarely, monoploid plants may originate from the pollen tube, synergids and antipodals of the embryo sac and are called androgenic monoploids. So the synergids, antipodals, these are the components of the embryo sac So from these components, the zygote has been developed directly. So such monoploids are referred as androgenic monoploids. While in some plant, this egg cell directly develops into the zygote without fertilization. So from this also the monoploids has been produced. So this egg cell, synergids, antipodals, these are the haploid cells. So because of which it possesses a single set of chromosome, the monoploids has been produced. Okay. So when the monoploids has been produced, originate from the pollen tube, synergids and antipodals of the embryo sac, they are called androgenic monoploids. Monoploids can be produced by artificial methods by following methods, that is the X-ray treatments, delayed pollination, temperature shock, that is the cold treatment, colchicine treatment. Colchicine is an alkaloid which is responsible for diplodization of the chromosome. So the chromosome has been doubled by the treatment of the colchicine. Distant hybridization, the hybridization has been takes place between the species of the same genus, interspecific hybridization, that is also called as distant hybridization. Anther or pollen culture, by using tissue culture technique, the anther or pollen culture has been carried out. So among these different artificial methods or the techniques, the most important ones are distant hybridization and anther culture, that gives a excellent result for the production of the monoploids. So the monoploids here produced by using the two methods. One is a distant hybridization and second one is the anther culture. So one by one we will discuss these methods, distant hybridization and anther culture. So first one is the distant hybridization. Interspecific crosses in the genera of Solanaceae, for example Solanum, Nicotiana, have been employed for the production of both parthenogenetic and androgenic monoploids. Parthenogenetic means egg cell directly develops into the zygote. Androgenic monoploids means those monoploids which has been originated from the synergids, antipodals of the embryo sac. These are androgenic monoploids. By this technique, monoploids have been obtained in large number in potato. So here we take an example of distant hybridization. Kasha and Kao in 1970 have used this technique for producing monoploids in large number in barley. What they did, they discovered that when diploid barley, that is Hordeum vulgar, is pollinated using a diploid wild relative called Hordeum bulbosum, fertilization occurs. But during the ensuing the somatic cell divisions, the chromosomes of Hordeum bulbosum are preferentially eliminated from the zygote, resulting in a haploid embryo. So what happened here, a cross has been made between Hordeum vulgar, which is diploid, with a diploid Hordeum bulbosum plant. The fertilization occurs in between these plants, means there is a fusion of male and female gamete, that is the egg cell and the sperm cell. But what happened during the ensuing somatic cell divisions, the chromosomes of Hordeum bulbosum are preferentially eliminated from the zygote. So zygote is a diploid because which is formed as a result of union between the egg cell and the sperm cell. Egg cell, sperm cell, both are the haploid cell. So after the fusion of these two cells, a diploid zygote has been formed. But during the formation of the zygote, there is a somatic cell division. So during the ensuing somatic cell division, the chromosomes of Hordeum bulbosums are preferentially eliminated. They has been deleted from the zygote, resulting in a haploid embryo. This resulting haploids can be doubled with colchicine treatment. So I know the colchicine is a alkaloid. It is a drug that is responsible for the diplodization or doubling the chromosome number. So as a result of loss of a complete set of chromosome from the zygote, the resulting zygote form is a haploid. Okay, it results into the haploid embryo. So this resulting haploids can be doubled with a colchicine treatment. So this technique has resulted in the rapid production of new varieties of the barley and applied to other plant species also. So monoploids, they has been artificially obtained by using a distant hybridization, where one example we taken by the work of Kasha and Kao in 1970. They crossed Hordeum vulgare and Hordeum bulbosum. So during the zygote formation, the chromosomes of Hordeum bulbosums are preferentially eliminated, resulting in the haploid embryo. So such haploids can be doubled with colchicine treatment. So this is the technique is used for the production of new varieties of the barley and also applied to other plant species. Now the another one technique, anther or pollen culture. So both anther and the pollen, these are the haploid cells. So from this monoploids has been obtained. The production of monoploids in tobacco plant by anther and pollen culture was demonstrated for the first time in the laboratory of Professor S.C. Maheshwari, who made this technique feasible for the production of the monoploids. So anther or pollen culture has been used for the production of monoploids in tobacco plant. So what happened here? In this technique, a cell which is destined to become a pollen grain may be induced by cold treatment to grow instead into an embroid. So embroid, it is like embryo, oid. So oid, like the word before this, it is the embryo. Okay, so it is like the embryo, but it is not the embryo. What is the embryo? Embryo is the fusion product of male and female gametes that has been formed from the zygote. But embroid, they has been directly formed from the haploid cell, for example here pollen grain. So a cell which is destined to become the pollen grain, that cell has been selected and given it a cold treatment. So this cell, instead of producing the pollen grain, to produce an embroid, a small dividing mass of the cell. This embroid may be grown on agar medium to form a monoploid plantlet, which can then be potted in the soil to mature. So such monoploid plants has been obtained from the pollen culture, where the cell which is destined to become a pollen grain has been induced by cold treatment to grow instead into the embroid. So embroid is a small dividing mass of the cell which is like the embryo. So this small dividing mass of the cell, we refer it as embroid, has been grown on the agar medium to form a monoploid plantlet by using a tissue culture technique. Such plantlet has been potted in the soil for maturation. So this is the technique of anther or pollen culture. Subsequently, such monoploid cell produced for various crop plants such as soybean, rice, wheat, mustard and tobacco. Presently, this technique is regarded as a very potential source of monoploid production. So this technique is easy that can be achieved with the help of a tissue culture technique, where a cell which is destined to become a pollen grain may be induced by the cold treatment to grow into an embroid, and these embroids has been grown on agar medium. So the pollen grain which is haploid and the embroids are produced from the pollen grain which are also haploid. So they are grown on an agar medium to form a monoploid plantlet which can then be plotted in soil for maturation. So this is all about the anther or pollen culture. Now the morphology of the monoploids. As you know that the monoploids possesses a single basic set of chromosomes, while the normal organisms possesses two sets of chromosomes. So they are different from the normal. Okay, so what are the morphological features of these monoploids? We are going to study in this point, morphology of monoploids. So first characteristic of the monoploids, monoploids plants have reduced size of all vegetative and floral parts because they possesses single basic set of chromosomes. While diploid or the normal plants, they possesses two sets of chromosome. So one set is missing in the monoploids. One set is less in the monoploid, so because of which monoploid plants have reduced size of all vegetative and floral parts. Vegetative parts like root, stem and leaf. Floral parts such as calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So they are reduced in size than the normal diploid plants. In monoploid Nicotiana, Kostov reported that the leaves, flowers and overall plant size were smaller. So monoploids are small in size with respect to its vegetative and floral parts. Why they are smaller? The reason behind this is because they possess a single set of chromosome. They have a reduced set of chromosome. They have only one basic set of chromosome. The size of seed and stomata as well as diameter of the pollen were found smaller in monoploids than in diploids. Further, even the size of nucleus of monoploid often was found to be just half than the nucleus of the diploid cell. So there is a reduction in size with respect to all plant part. Also the cell size, the size of the seed, stomata, the diameter of the pollen, that was also smaller. Even the size of nucleus of monoploid was found to be just half than the nucleus of the diploid cell. Okay. Next to this is the uses of monoploids. In a monoploid, since there is only one copy of each chromosome and only one allele of each gene, so in it each gene is expressed, whether it is dominant or recessive, because there is only one set of chromosome present in the monoploids. So due to this, there is only one allele of each gene. So each gene is expressed in the monoploid, whether it is dominant or recessive, because there is no dominant allele present in the monoploid for the recessive allele. Okay. So there is only one allele, either dominant or recessive. So when the recessive allele has been present, it get expressed. So for inhibition of the recessive allele, there is no dominant allele for the particular gene. There is only one allele of the each gene has been present in the monoploids. So both dominant as well as recessive alleles get expressed in the monoploids. This facilitates genetic experiments, and this is the reason why microorganisms have been helpful in the genetic studies. For the same reasons, scientists are trying hard to develop haploid strains of the flowering plants, and the success has been achieved in developing monoploid strains of Nicotiana, Datura and Triticum. From these monoploid strains have also been developed pure breeding strains which are resistant for the insecticides and also for toxic compounds normally produced by the parasites of these plants. So these monoploids are useful in the hybridization experiment because they possess single set of chromosomes, and they also have only one allele of the each gene. So each gene in the monoploid get expressed whether it is dominant or recessive. Okay, so these are the uses of the monoploids. Then next to this is the polyploid. So these polyploids we will study in the next lecture. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you. Stay home, be safe.